guys ever found yourself in a set of circumstances or a situation where you just had to wonder, why me? Why is this happening to me? This is what Frodo asks. I'm sure all of you guys know Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. After Frodo acquires the ring from his uncle Bilbo, and him and Gandalf find out together that it's the one evil ring, he's got to go on this quest to destroy it, to Mount Doom. And in the middle of the first movie, he's talking to Gandalf, and he basically asks this question. He's like, why me? I wish this, had never happened. I wish I had never gotten the ring. And Gandalf says something to him that I thought was really interesting, and it was just kind of poetic. He says, "So do all who see such times, but it is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us." And I think what Gandalf means by this, or what J.R.R. Tolkien means through him, is that there are basically two types of people in the world. There's the type of people who accept their circumstances and sort of work through them, even though they can't control them. And there's the other type of people who sort of surrender to what happens. And they just kind of let the circumstances control them. This brings me to my first point, which is, or the first type of person, for example, is the type that adapts, which is Theodore Roosevelt. Many people don't know that as a child he had very poor health, and many people didn't really expect much out of him. He was always sick. He kind of was in bed most of his childhood, and here he grew up to be the President of the United States. So that's one example. On the other hand, the second type of people are those who sort of surrender to the circumstances that they're put in. And this can be people who become serial killers who were abused as children. They sort of let the abuse control them instead of, even though it's a hard situation, it's kind of one of those things you can't really judge somebody unless you've been there. Yet there are people who have been abused horribly and grow up to be lawyers with nice families and things of that sort. So it kind of just depends on, who you are and how you want to deal with that. And the key, I think, here is just trying to realize that you have a choice. You could either let the circumstances control you, or you can control them and work through them. In conclusion, we can't always control the circumstances we're put in. We can't always help what happens to us, but we just have to control our reaction to them. And I guess the last thing I'd leave you guys with is what the first thing that comes to your mind is when I mention the name Ponce de Leon. And I bet for all of you, or most of you, it was the Fountain of Youth, right? The Fountain of Youth was a myth among the natives of Puerto Rico, and according to American historian Hubert H. Bancroft, that in the Isle of Bimini there was a fountain of such wonderful virtue as to renew the youth and recall the vigor of every person who bathed in its salutary waters. Now, Ponce de Leon never found the fountain, and as a matter of fact, he was killed by Indians in Florida in 1521. But his quest, or the same idea of what he was looking for, still exists today. And one of these quests between scientists and people is, one quest centers around the idea that calories, the more calories you eat, the faster you age. Calories are thought, the more calories you eat is thought to increase the speed at which you age by releasing free radicals into your body. Now, it's human nature, like I said, to kind of seek out youth and immortality, and that's the reason that I kind of picked this topic. It's kind of has a general interest among everybody. So I will present the information that I found to you guys today. Okay, restricting calories is thought to maximize lifespan in two different ways. One, it reduces the amount of diseases that your body is prone to, and it also makes your body look and feel younger. and look and feel younger, according to Richard Weinberg, PhD professor of medicine at the University of Wisconsin in Madison. Means younger longer consists of immune system aging, islands, proteins, enzyme activities, learning and behavior, and a slowing of skeletal muscle loss. Now, how does this work? I mentioned free radicals. Whenever your body changes, there's like an energy exchange inside your cells. They produce these little tiny particles called free radicals. And when free radicals accumulate in your body, they cause damage. They're not really sure exactly why this is or where these things first came from, but this is just the general idea. Now again, according to Weinberg, free radicals are tiny electrically charged particles created during energy production in the cells, which cause cumulative damage to the body. So this would indicate that when you eat something, if you eat something with a lot of calories, it takes more energy to burn the calories, which creates more of these free radicals. So the less you ate, the less of these free radicals you're producing. Now, the one drawback or the disadvantage about this study is it's only been performed on rodents and monkeys. And although they've come to, like, every test has kind of been similar and has showed the same kind of results, it's still never been proven on humans. So the effects on humans aren't really known. In conclusion, the effects aren't proven, but the keys still to like a fulfilling life would be a healthy diet and regular exercise. Today we would think that Ponce de Leon is, kind of crazy for searching out this mythical fountain. But when we think of things like Botox and facelifts and calorie intake, you have to kind of wonder, was he really crazy?
4-minute intro. Oh, this is good.